if you could send us back in time, when would you send us to and why? It could be something fun or something evil. Your choice.
Okay, so I would send all three of you guys back to the grassy knoll in 1960 whatever when Kennedy got shot. And that would be the year. And I would place you guys in strategic locations.
Dwayne would be killed because he's black.
Right.
Hey, you're going to put a black man on the grassy knoll the day that Kennedy was shot? What are you?
I would put him in the library so that he could observe.
If I have a shoe shine kit.
Then you're okay.
Yeah. Like it doubles as a gun kind of thing.
I love that you have the faith in us that we could solve it.
I think you could.
Yeah, we could totally solve it.
I think we would find.
Meanwhile, like no one can solve it. They're like, there's 5 shooters up in the clouds. No one, like all these theories, no one can figure it out. But you think we could do it? All right, I like that.
First, we would watch a documentary on it. We know exactly where to stand. I'd give you guys a diagram, and be like, you go here, you go here, you go there, and then we'll take cameras. Because you can take
I think it's the Jap spy.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
We come back and it's a whole
or
new
a Chinese
theory.
spy. They'll say a Chinese spy.
Okay, what if we've got a Mandela Effect situation, and that's exactly what's been going on? People keep going back in time to see what happened to JFK, altering the timeline, and now there's 70 theories.
Okay, so I would say it's going to be the only person who can go back in time is Jonesy because, you know, you're a woman, Cat. For the most part of history, women haven't been seen as very, like you can't really do much.
You can't even look at the president. Look away as he drives by.
And Dwayne is black, so
Right.
obviously that's not going to be good. And Asians tend not to be good in America. So Jonesy's the only one that would be okay in the past.
Yeah, but I can't. I don't want to be up close to see one of my Boston brothers get blown away in front of me like that. Come on now.
Right.
Can't do that.
Okay.
What about you, Dwayne? What would you do?
I don't like
When would
that.
you go back?
I have so.
Or who would you send back?
Only one person.
Or I mean,
No.
Cat sent everybody. So
I would.
I need a team for this.
I would have us all go back.
Okay.
Okay, first I was going to do a podcast in like a prehistoric caveman setting, and just the caveman's looking at like, oh, and then we just, hey man, do you mind? And then shoot anyone who gives us trouble. But I think instead I'd go back to August 11th, 1973. I believe was the birth of hip hop. So that party that Kool Herc threw, the back to school party.
Tell us about this party.
So that's kind of like the unofficial
Beginning of hip hop.
beginning of hip hop. Yeah, 'Cause-
73.
Yeah. And so
Uh-huh.
I think it could be 71. I think it's 73. So Kool Herc threw a party. Is a back to school flyer thing. And he was the guy who was really instrumental in 2 turntables, playing the break beats. I mean, he didn't have a good blending technique. I think Grandmaster Flash developed that. But he'd play like the break over and over again, which is where break dancing comes from, right? And break beat. It was a break
Got it.
beat. So songs would have like a regular song, then all the music would stop and it would just be the drum. It'd be like they call it the get down or the break. Anyway, I'd go back to that, enjoy the party, but also if they had microphones or bring a mic, I'd rap. at
so you'd be the
party.
founder of rap.
And
Yeah.
they would be blown away. They'd never
I
seen
would
that
do
before.
like one of Rakim's So while they were like, because back then they used to rhyme like, rah, like,
Yeah.
party
Rah.
people in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
place.
Break them up, break
Here
them up,
to
break them up,
say,
break down.
Come on, have
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
day, and I just come on. I came through the door. I said it before, and they were like, "What is this?"
My goodness. Yeah. I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. They're like, whoa.
Right,
Blown
yeah,
oh,
it was-
yeah. That would blow minds. And then,
And then I would say something like basically like Back to the Future. You guys are not ready for that, but you will be. We could talk about it in perpetuity. All of
Jonesy,
us.
who would you send back and why?
well, I would send myself back. And like Dwayne, this is out of ego. I want to be a little selfish here. I'm just going to go back to the winter of 2003, Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts, when I screwed up a threesome. I mean, I dropped the ball
That's
so.
a very good use of a time machine.
Yeah, man. I just didn't pick up on the signals. I mean, it was really.
Two women, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying.
Because if it's like 2 dudes or something, you don't need to do that.
Thank you for clarifying.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it though, but yeah.
No, I had this guy going on and on about this book once, that pickup artist book or whatever.
Oh,
one of those books.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, I don't need that. And he's like, it really works. Da, da, da. And then he was like, this book got me my first threesome. And then I was like, go on. Right? So,
There's a threesome chapter.
and then he said, my second threesome. And so now I'm like finally engaged because I've never needed a book, right? But then we were at a conference. Like, so he's telling me about it for like a whole day. And then later on in the day, or maybe even the next day, somehow he lets it drop that this threesome was 2 guys. And I was like, you had to read a book to run a train? That's a train. Get out of here, man. You just came upon a girl that wanted that. Like, just get out of here. I never read that book. He was an awful advocate for that book.
He was a victim that night. That wasn't
Right. Those 2 set him up.
Yeah, totally. Come on, man. You didn't try for that. I mean,
The devil's threesome. And I'm sure maybe it takes some skill, but he was acting like he had, redefined the wheel, or, he had done something really groundbreaking. And I'm like,
yeah, this is what he did. He didn't put the napkin over his drink when he went to the bathroom. And then the couple, he got dosed. Next thing you know, that's what happened. I mean, come on.
Right. It was just him and some dude, and then there's a cleaning lady. And he just sort of, she was here, right? Yeah. Which is like Koji said earlier, it's all fine.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't need to read a book for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's great. JP Licks is what I'm going to call that segment.
Yeah, JP Licks. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
an ice cream place in Jamaica Plain. So, it's in all over Boston, but yeah.
Yeah. So, I think about that night, often. So I need to. You don't need therapy if you have a time machine. You can just go back and deal with the problem in your
But you
early
gotta
life.
understand the other thing too is that those kind of moments, I've had those situations. I had one where I was wingmanning for a dude. I was just his wingman. And the other girl wasn't that into me, but we had a good rapport. And then a year later, the girl that he was going for, nothing happened with them. We went back to their place. It was a whole thing, right? She was like, I liked you. And I was like,
And you were wingmanning
I
for
was
him.
wingmanning. Yeah. So, but I always, those moments, I don't lose sleep at all because I think it's the universe saving me from myself. Like, who knows what else could have happened? Like, the threesome could have went bad. It could have,
Oh, you're saying I shouldn't,
oh yeah.
You could have gotten the clap.
You could have got the
You would
clap.
have gotten
It could
the
have.
clap.
It could have went left. You know what I mean? You could.
Could have got your dick cut off.
You could. Yeah. Anything bad could have
It
happened.
could have been a coven, and they would have sacrificed you.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. It could have been that. I guess it could have been anything. So
Look, women be witches.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of that, but yeah, you're right. I guess it could have been anything.
Welcome. This is season 4, episode 6 of the award-winning unofficial official story. I'm Kat.
I'm Koji.
and I'm Dwayne. This is where we tell you the official story. We look at the paranormal, conspiracies, unexplained phenomena, cryptids, and true crime. And by the end, we'll tell you what really, maybe happened.
Please consider writing a review of our show on the platform you use to listen to this podcast. We know it's a pain in the butt, but it does go a long way in helping the show. And it helps us reach new listeners, grow our show, and most importantly, it enables us to keep putting out the content that we have.
In October, we celebrate the 45th anniversary of the Vanishing Hotel. And we're asking a very important question. Where did the Vanishing Hotel go? First, let's introduce our guest, Jonesy, who has been here 3 times. He's actually the only guest on our show's history that's come back 3 times. The first one was it was about
J.P. Cooper, right?
J.D. Cooper, yeah.
Cooper. And then the second one was, which one was the second one?
Oh, it was the celebrities who were lizard people.
Oh, yes.
Which celebrities are lizard people?
Yeah.
DB Cooper was the first.
DB Cooper, that's right.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah. And then this one's the Vanishing Hotel. How have you been?
Yeah, been very good. It's an honor to be here a 3rd time. I don't know why you keep having me come back here.
You're the best one.
You live the closest as well.
That's right. I do live 12 minutes away. So that's pretty. What guest had to cancel last minute? I'd like to know.
No, we booked you like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I know you did. I was just joking around. Yeah, you sent me a list of subjects to choose, and I was familiar with about half of them. I had never heard about this Vanishing Hotel one. So I like to learn about new paranormal and weird stories. So I was like, let's do this one. I want to learn something.
And how's your podcast going?
The podcast is going very, very well. I just got an intern. So
wow,
nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
What's the podcast?
Weird AF News. I do weird news from around the world 5 days a week, and on Friday I only do weird news from Florida.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll record it by one guy in a closet.
So you know my ex-boyfriend? Sorry. You get it?
Is that what's making all that
Gay.
noise?
Anyways.
Gay? I didn't know he was from Florida or gay.
All right.
This is the one you lived with? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No names.
No names. You don't need to out anybody.
I can't help but think you just keep having me back here because I'm sort of an expert on weird by now.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, nobody knows more weird news than me, probably. I 1,850 episodes in my podcast.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of weird.
Because you're a daily show, right?
Yeah, because it's 5 days a week.
Damn, that's crazy.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm probably insane for doing it.
Yes, you
To
are.
keep doing it. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
This is a monthly show, and
You could-
that's already enough for me.
You could do
It's
it
a
every
lot.
other day, but
I probably could.
someone's gonna look at you crazy. You know?
Yeah, no, you're probably right.
They have a joke about in movies they always defuse the bomb with 1 second left. I'm like, you're still a hero if you do it with like 20 seconds. Everyone's still appreciative. Don't write this thing down to the end. And kudos to these mad scientist villains who keep putting timers on bombs. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Giving us a chance.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
How's your stand-up going?
Well, the stand-up is going great. Working a lot and getting funnier and funnier and enjoying it still. And yeah, it's nice to find something that you love and you never want to stop. So I'm pretty blessed.
Today, we're talking about time slips, where for some reason people jump into the past or into the future. Wait, did I jump ahead?
Yeah, you tripped ahead.
That's okay. We just missed one line. Well, let's get the story straight once and for all, shall we?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. We're talking about time slips, where for some reason people jump into the past or the future.
Let's do the time slip again.
That was AI.
What a great singer. Anyways, one of the most famous cases is from October 1979. Two couples, Jeff and Pauline Simpson, and Len and Cynthia Gisbin.
Gisbin, maybe.
Gisbin?
Gisbin's funny, though.
Oh, they called her Jizbin. Oh, that's not what you want to be called.
If she lived in Boston or New York, that's definitely what they called her.
Oh, no.
Well, she was in England, so I don't know if they had that.
Oh, God. Poor Cynthia Gisbin.
No, it'd be probably Len.
Oh, Len Gisbin.
It's better than Jizz Dumpster.
Yeah.
So sorry.
All right. All right. So the Gisbins were on a road trip through France to Spain, and they decided to stop somewhere on the way and saw a cobblestone road and flyers for a circus. So, of course, they went down the road and found a hotel.
That was the weirdest part of the story is the circus part.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so you saw a flyer for a circus, you're like, okay, let's go that way. I mean, is that
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 sounds
normal?
fun. You're on a vacation. You're
This
like,
is-
let's have an adventure.
This is exactly why I don't drive through Mississippi. I don't want to just drive and it's like 1950, 1948. That's a fancy car you got there, boy. What's that, Japanese?
Hey. Hey, we're having a fire out in the field. You want to come with us?
Oh, no.
You like s'mores? No.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that circus stuff is weird. And then, like, from what I've read, like, it was just like decoration for the story. Like, it had nothing really to do with the hotel, did it?
Well, there
No.
is something because, we'll get there.
Well, circus
Okay.
wasn't
It does
prominent
serve a purpose.
in 1970s, not as much as it was. You know what I mean? Like,
So I guess the point of the flyers is to show, like, oh, we're back in time when circuses were all the time,
but
we're
also,
everywhere.
it's how they knew that they came back to the same place later.
Mm,
I see.
got it. The circus.
Yes.
It's a landmark.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this wasn't a normal hotel. The hotel had no elevators or phones. The locks were wooden catches. The plumbing was antiquated. Oh, Jesus. Antiquated. There you go.
This guy's a writer. Psh, can't
The windows
pronounce
were
antiquated. What the hell?
The windows were just wood shutters instead of glass, etc. Despite all this weirdness, they stayed the night, and the next morning at breakfast, they saw a woman in an old-fashioned dress. One of the women, Pauline, said, "It was strange. It looked like she had just come in from a ball, but it was 7 a.m. I couldn't take my eyes off her." They then went over to two French policemen in old-style uniforms and asked which auto route would be the best to drive to Spain, and the policemen appeared to be confused about what an auto route was.
Ooh.
And when they checked out, the bill was a tenth of what they expected. Oh,
Very nice.
that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you have brunch in Silver Lake, there's going to be some bitch in a dress.
I was about to say, like, there are some
That is true.
outlets that look very 1776.
Facts. I was in a Starbucks, the one here in Pasadena, there's several, but the one in South Pass on Fair Oaks. And this dude came in, happened to be a black dude too. Like doing literally the most. Handlebar mustache, big ass handlebar mustache,
Okay.
tight clothes. He looked like he was like in the group Mumford and Sons, like the one you don't see that often or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he had pointy leather shoes, tight clothes, suspenders, and one of those bikes with the big wheel in the front and the little wheel in the back.
No, not the bike. He had the bike.
Because, those bikes are before chains. Because before chains, you need the big wheel in the front because that made the little wheel go more. It's like a gear kind of thing. So, so he had the front wheel came up to my shoulder. Okay. And I just was like, I'm not going to look at you, bro. I'm not going to say anything because that's what you want.
Yep.
You're going to get no attention. I'm going to act like this is normal. You know what? The guy were you here before? Or was the other guy with the big wheel?
Yeah, let him know there's another one in the neighborhood. That'll drive him crazy.
You get nothing from me. Yeah. Just like there's a guy in San Fran who actually emailed me because I wrote a blog about him. He sits on a street. He used this years ago, and he with a typewriter. He would sit in the middle of the street, sidewalk, but with a typewriter typing. Again, you get nothing from me, dude. Nothing. So anyway, you're right. Like, is that a time warp or is that people trying to get attention?
Funny, like people who like steampunk for no reason.
Yeah, it's weird.
Which was never even a thing.
Oh, I think there's a reason.
Right.
It's drugs.
Drugs.
Okay.
But that is pretty sweet that the bill was cheaper.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to me in Vietnam recently. I got, this is a tenth of the bill that I usually get.
Outrageous, right?
Unbelievable.
I have a joke about that.
Keep eating there. You got a joke for everything.
Well, my joke, I go, you can't complain anymore, because people always say, first world problem, Dwayne. Mm-hmm. First world problem. Then you have to back it up. You're like, no, you're right. Gratitude, blessings, gratitude. Mm-hmm. But my thing is, I'm appreciative, first world problem, but I'm also paying first world prices. You know what I mean? Like, charge me third world prices. You won't hear a peep out.
Yeah,
I won't complain.
That's
like,
right.
I've never been in Thailand and paid like $1 for pad thai, but like, I wanted 2 limes, actually.
Right.
It's $1 pad thai. Relax. You know what I mean?
Come on. I ignore the bad service even.
Back to this story. They continued their trip to Spain, but on the way back, they wanted to stay in the hotel again. But when they went to look for it, they could not find it. It had seemingly vanished.
That's the name, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, some of the research, apparently this hotel, the beds didn't have pillows.
Yeah, I saw it.
So I guess they went back for the cheap price because, no pillows.
Yeah, why would you go back to a hotel that had no pillows?
I've been able to rough it, but no pillows. I can't. I can roll my shirt up, I guess, but there's no way I'm going back to a place.
They probably ran out of money.
Yeah.
They're like, this place is cheap. Let's go there.
Unless they bought pillows on the way back.
True.
And to make things even weirder, when they developed the pictures they took while at the hotel, they were all missing. They even underwent hypnosis, but nothing came up. There have been other examples of time slips. One of the other famous ones occurred in 1901 when Charlotte Ann Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain went to the Palace of Versailles and claimed to have seen the long-dead Marie Antoinette.
So there's actually a lot of stories about time slips. Like one of the common ones is that you're driving and then like there's like a roadhouse bar restaurant and they pull over, they go in and it's like, it's not like 100 years ago, but it's like older and you go in and everything's kind of older and they don't know what's going on. And then they eat or drink or whatever. And then they leave. And then on the way back, they come back. It's been like abandoned for like 50 years or something.
I just heard a story like that about some people who were escaping a hurricane. I want to say it was Katrina. And like someone took them in because they couldn't find a place to stay. And it was a very nice old couple. And they stayed the night and then they went on to wherever they were going. And on the way back home, they wanted to stop by and give them a gift. They get to the house. It's been abandoned. And they're like, oh, yeah, nobody's lived here in years.
Although that's very similar to there's a Third Man. It's called The Third Man. Have you ever heard that, Jonesy?
The Third Man?
Yeah. So on a lot of times, like in like Everest or...
Third Man Syndrome.
Yeah, where like a lot of times like you're about to die.
It's like a messenger that's as you're about to die.
And then people are like, keep going. You only have like a mile left, and then they finally get to the place, and they're like, "Oh, who's that guy talking to me? I want to thank him." And then they're like, "There's nobody else. It's just me and you."
That happened in the movie Gravity when one of the characters came back because she's lost in space.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Listen, people love it. I didn't love it. Only because at some point, maybe you should die. You know what I mean? Like, there's only but so much turmoil you can really overcome when it's like, the universe seems to be really against you on this one. So, and you're in the universe, so it even makes even more sense. But that happened, and that happens in movies a lot. There's people will visions of someone who's not there.
But there's like we should like draw a line between like this time slip and then there's ghosts. Like if you see, that's kind of a spirit or a ghost.
True,
I wouldn't say
true.
like
that's true.
I wouldn't necessarily call that a time slip.
Or there's a lot of stories also of like you're driving through a town and then you stop at the light. All of a sudden, like everything around you is like 1950s. You're like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, they said it happens. There's a part of London where that happens a lot.
And then you keep going, and then it's like normal again, and you're just like, what the hell?
Yeah,
You know? Or you see that, like a lot of times it's a ghost too. Like you see somebody walking, and like they just walk past you, and you think it's a ghost, but it's actually like they think it's a time slip, not a ghost.
Right.
I don't know.
In Brooklyn, there are areas where you can go back to like mid 90s. You just, mainly Italian neighborhoods, and you go in and everyone's wearing Chess King. And you're like, oh wow, this is 93 again. It's like, and cigarettes up here. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Trump wants to bring it back to like the 1940s or something.
Well, yeah. It's like seems to be the goal of some speakeasies is to kind of create a time slip experience for you. Like some speakeasies are like, no, this is supposed to be this is supposed to be a diner from 1930 or whatever. They have like themes for these speakeasies,
right.
which is it's a really cool experience. I mean, slipping into time, and that's kind of cool. So
you ever go to Fry's Electronics and it's like Alice in Wonderland?
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
I don't think they have that anymore.
It's like
right?
a speakeasy, but Radio Shack.
Fry's and Radio Shack, they were both. We're gonna miss those places.
There used to be a DVD store in South Pasadena, and we used to walk around.
Finally closed. Right?
No, now it's in Highland Park. They moved to Highland Park.
Did they make it look like Cinderella?
Videotheque or whatever.
Videotheque.
I remember.
And I remember like walking around with my son and being like, this is like the 1990s. Just to let you know, this is like Blockbuster Video. And then you had to explain what Blockbuster Video is, and you had to explain like videos in general. Crazy. And I explained like what if they didn't have the movie, and I'd like had to get something else I didn't want to watch. And it's just like it was like a whole thing. He's like, well, why can't you just stream it? And I'm like, yeah, never mind. It's like too much work
because the internet didn't work as well yet.
Well, it didn't work at all at that time.
It didn't exist. So what do we think happened though? Had these two couples time slipped? Some people question the legitimacy of the story, as they should, and they ask, why didn't people freak out when the couple pulled up in the modern automobile? Or why didn't anyone say anything about their modern clothing? And how could they pay with modern money or credit cards?
Well, it was the 70s, but you can pay with money. Well, I think the clothes is easy because they just dress funny.
But the car,
it's
though,
always been
the car is it's
because
like,
they could be like, oh, you're foreigners, so that's why.
So
you're
the first time I saw that Tesla truck thingy, I'm sorry, I don't like it at all.
No, it's a terrible car.
Yeah. First time I saw that, I was like, is Arnold Schwarzenegger about to come out and kill me? Where's Sarah Connor? I don't want to get as far away from her as possible. But
But the car you can't really explain.
The car you can't explain, and the money. But the money is kind of close. If they're French, that would have been the franc. It depends on how much the money changed.
Yeah,
because I never look at the date.
Well, now it wouldn't work because everyone has credit cards. Although here's a pet peeve of mine, just on a side note: stores that don't accept cash anymore. I actually had a long conversation with this lady at this restaurant where I explained that it was actually illegal not to accept U.S. currency in America.
I think that's true, right?
It is true. Yeah, you have to accept U.S. currency.
You have to accept it, correct?
And that they're like, oh, we don't. And I was like, well, just I'm going to pay with my credit card, but it's fine. But just let you know, it's illegal.
It's like the first step of undermining the currency because then you can switch to Bitcoin, and then now it's not even
it's like
government at all.
In America, it's American currency is supposed to be accepted everywhere. Right. That's part of the thing.
It used to be you had to accept 2 goats and a chicken.
Exactly.
You have to accept fowl. You have to accept farm animals for purchase.
Also children.
Children too. Yeah.
They're part of barter.
All right. People have attempted to explain these time slips. We found a site, we'll link in our show notes, that gave a few theories. The first, it's a hallucination caused by hunger, fear, excitement, tiredness, etc. That's a stretch, I think. The second is a confirmation bias. You see a lady dressed up in old clothes and you want to believe it's a time slip instead of just maybe cosplay, which we talked about a little bit.
It doesn't explain the going back, though.
Yeah, true. The third theory is that people are just in an altered state of consciousness. Think of the moment right before you wake up or fall asleep. Or finally, it might have been something to do with electromagnetic fields that are messing with people's brains.
Well, it's time to put on our thinking caps. When we return, we'll settle this once and for all and figure out what really maybe Now that we've reviewed the evidence, let's give our theories.
I can go first. I think that they are swingers.
Okay, why?
Her last name is Jizbin. Okay, but aside from that, I'm just going to make it a fun theory that they're swingers and that they're so busy being swingers that they were not paying attention to everything going on around them. They were just like on drugs and stuff. And so they didn't even realize what street they actually turned on. So when they came back, they turned on a completely different street because their brains are just all full of like sex hormones and shit.
Right. So they basically just didn't go back to the same place.
Yeah. They just were having orgies all weekend, this entire freaking trip. You think they're paying attention to where they're going? No. That's my theory.
I like that theory because also in that maybe one guy was sort of getting some sort of sexual act performed on him while he drove.
Maybe.
You could pick which act.
Okay. Actually,
yes.
My other theory is it's the Mandela Effect. Also, they're swingers, but it's the Mandela Effect.
Which is
kind of time slip theory that when people time travel and they go back and they change something, it changes the chain of events, and so people have their memories altered, and then you get different people who remember different things, like Bernstein Bears.
Shaq was definitely in a movie called Kazam. I swear I saw that movie.
I do
100%. I swear I saw that movie.
I did too.
Shaq, Kazam,
Absolutely.
or was it Sinbad Shazam? That's the
Sinbad one.
But
yeah,
no,
sorry.
that's what I agree.
Sinbad.
Yeah,
that did happen.
But Shaq was in something called Kazam.
He was
Kazam. No, but
people think it's Sinbad.
It's Sinbad.
Shazam.
On this timeline, Shaq was in Kazam.
Yeah, but Sinbad was
we had definitely shared the other timeline where Sinbad was in
Shazam.
Yes,
Which I agree.
yes. I remember.
So I think they are both swingers, and it's the Mandela Effect.
Well, my theory is actually that this was Airbnb's first Airbnb experience. It was like a place that was pretending to be from like the 1800s.
Interesting.
And that like they had a host and all these people, they're all part of the game, like the Airbnb experience.
Yeah.
And they just didn't realize that they were part of this whole thing because it was kind of early, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were early adopters. And then by the time they came back, they closed.
Okay, so I was gonna say I'm gonna go with my other theory. So basically, it's like a pop-up hotel.
Yes. Yeah, but Airbnb.
It's
Right,
Airbnb.
right.
Yeah.
How do you explain the price? Airbnb is not known for.
Well, they weren't
Promotional.
Sure.
Is
Yeah, it was
promotional.
promotional.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And what they didn't realize there was a cleaning fee. It was like $100 cleaning fee, so it made it fall on the difference.
Well, it's kind of hard for it to be like hallucinations because I don't really believe in group hallucinations. You know.
Well, how do you explain MAGA then? Oh,
That's not hallucination. That's
A cult.
yeah, hypnotizing, right?
Hypnagogia. I
Yeah,
appreciate the joke. That was good.
So we have
Uh-huh.
Mandela Effect,
Yes.
Airbnb, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go with they didn't go back in time, right? But they did stumble upon sort of an ethereal ghost kind of situation. So they were in the same time, but they just stumbled upon a haunting, but it's like on a massive level. That's why they experienced all of that. And so when they went back, because these ghosts probably are affiliated with the circus, it's a traveling ghost town.
oh,
So that's why they couldn't find it when they went back.
Oh, I like that.
Traveling Ghost Town.
Yes.
that's a good movie. We should write that. All right,
Yeah, right?
Jonesy, what about you?
Well, as you know, the American government experimented with dosing citizens with acid without them knowing.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't the French government do that?
Mm.
You know, they were a little late to the scene, but you know, maybe it took a while for acid to travel around to the various parts of the world. And so, you know, perhaps they dosed these because I believe in hallucinations, but a group hallucination?
Right.
We all have to be on board, I think, with the same. If you give a group the same chemical, though, they can all have a hallucination.
Possible. Yeah.
The only kink I can't work out in this theory is like how it lasted so long. Because, you know, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they have some really strong, maybe the government could get the good shit
Right.
that lasts more than 24 hours.
How do you think they got the drugs into them? Because maybe they were at a diner.
Simple,
and
they're French.
They all
They
had
just
Yoo-hoo.
stick it in their cappuccino. You know,
Yeah,
they're just,
okay,
you
I like
know,
that.
they're
Here.
French.
They can
In their
pump it.
wine, and they goes in the wine. Eventually, they're going to drink some wine. They're French.
Or
so
the
they
cheese.
put it in
and
the
just be
wine.
like it's French cheese. That's why it's
Put it in the
disgusting.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that would explain why they're not, when they do the hypnosis, it doesn't come back.
It doesn't come back.
Pictures didn't exist because
Sure, the pictures didn't exist because
there were no
They were
such
never even
thing.
taken.
They were never taken.
Right.
yeah, they're just tripping balls. It's just like an extended tripping balls group trip.
What if it was like black mold? Like there was like hallucinogenic mold in the rafters.
Well,
That
that's
makes
what LSD really is
You
made
mean
of. It.
at the hotel, so they were just at a Holiday Inn with mold.
Oh, you're saying mold? Oh, that
Yeah.
like a Motel 6 has mold and you're
Yeah.
breathing it in. Yeah.
And so then you think that everybody is from 1825. And you're just
You're just
high
like,
as
wow.
black mold.
Hey, this could be a
Perhaps you haven't had
good. We should party in a mold house. I mean, is that a thing? Yo, guys, come over to party. Do I need to bring anything like drugs? Nah, we got it. It's on the walls.
Right.
Just
So-
come as you are.
So if you went to party at a mole house, but then one person kind of was a rat and he told on you, he'd be the mole at the mole party.
I can see that coming. Yeah, mole at the mole house.
Right.
All right, we
right.
got no moles, just mold.
What's crazy about these theories is that which is crazier, that there's a time slip or that they were like tripping on something.
I mean, they're both
Time
a
slip
little crazy,
is
but
more unrealistic.
To me, the time slip seems truly unbelievable because given the time that you could slip into, the chances of you just slipping 30 years. You know, when they take that map of the length of the Earth, how long it's been here, how long time has been in the Earth, and you could extrapolate that to the, the universe is 18 billion years old, whatever they say that it is. Is it 18 billion, 14 billion years old, something like that? So the timeline's here. The humans are like so far, and we're just the tiniest little sliver of time that we're taking up. If we time slipped, like the chances of us like slipping like so close to our actual timeline that we're living in it is just mathematically impossible. You would definitely slip into at least a million years.
Unless
at
there
least.
takes like a certain amount of energy to go a certain like it takes like more activation
we
energy
go.
for the time travel. So
I
the further
see.
back you have to go, the more intentional it's got to be, and like it takes more effort. But
Okay.
just a little bit of time would take less effort. You're not traveling as far.
I see. I like that.
Because I was reading about time travel, and there's only been one case where the guy time traveled because of the theory of relativity and the speed of light. If you go fast enough, like in space, you will time travel. Like you will go
String theory.
a little faster.
I don't think a guy's time travel.
He did.
No, he's
but
saying
it was
like a second or
It was like
something.
1 second.
Yeah.
Really?
That's it. I mean, and it took
Yeah.
that much energy. To
Well,
go
string theory
1
is that
second.
like the time is like a circle. That like
Yeah.
time is not this straight line.
Well, it's like Interstellar.
Right.
When he came back, he was like younger than his daughter or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I thought you were going to say, so I like what you're saying. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to go back. That's why we only go back a little bit.
Mhm.
That answers that question. The other thing is maybe we don't go back that far is because it only goes back up until the point where people started testing, splitting the atom and started playing with tremendous amounts of
CERN.
energy.
I mean, people thought the world's going to end with the CERN
I remember
when
that.
they did the whole
Mhm.
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
you know, what I'm talking about with CERN.
And they have
Was
these
that when they
black
got the God
holes.
particle or?
There are theories out there that the world ended at that point.
Right.
That
Right.
like all this is just extra stuff. I was going to say though is that I think a lot of the time slips are powerful moments that are kind of like almost like etched in like history, like the Marie Antoinette thing. It's like that was like she's like walking around about to get killed, and so it's like a very almost like a ghost, right? Where there's like a
Trauma attached
trauma,
to it,
something
significance.
happening. Yeah, like because a lot of times they're that. Not always. I mean, in this case, they're just going to a fucking hotel, so it's I don't know what kind of trauma was there, but sometimes like in that one case, it was very she's like a victim in the Palace of Versailles and or going to be a victim soon.
I mean, maybe there was like a World War II, like it was a hotel and it got like bombed or something like that.
Oh,
Right. That's
Right?
true.
Could be something.
And it could be lying too. We never, I mean,
Yeah.
Nobody's theory.
I didn't see any footnotes to this story, like outside sources.
I mean, the problem with lying though is that could you get all 4 people to do it though?
yeah. And the amount of attention would not be worth it at
It wouldn't
all.
be worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Not at all.
So you're not famous for anything you did.
There's no reason to keep one of them from saying something. I mean, at least with like alien stuff or whatever,
Right,
at least be
right.
like, well, if you say something, we'll kill you or something. Like here, it's like, well, why don't you say something? Like just say something. Like that's also the DB Cooper issue was that
Mhm.
like at the deathbed, why couldn't you just say I'm DB Cooper and then prove it? Like why hasn't that happened? You know, unless you just died that night.
So at this point in the show, it's time for us to pick the unofficial official story, one that will answer the question once and for all. So which theory do we want to go with today?
We're voting.
Yeah, I like
Yes.
the black mold theory. Actually, I know that was
that a theory?
That's not an official theory.
That was a hybrid theory.
That was a hybrid
for
theory.
me and
If you
Jonesy.
like the black mold theory, I got the speakeasy I could take you to.
So that theory is they went to a hotel with black mold
And they just tripped out.
and they tripped out. So it wasn't a government trip out. It was a black mold.
And it wasn't like intentional. They just kind of
right.
stayed somewhere.
Right.
They tripped
But
out.
how do you explain the cobblestone streets and the circus thing, or they just sort of
There could have
That's
just
part
been
of the trip.
cobblestone streets.
Yeah.
And
I
it
mean,
could have been a
France, it's
circus.
old. Yeah, I could have had a
There's
circus.
still cobblestone streets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just tripping out and they're like, oh, look at this. It has no pillow. And there's like a pillow like 5 feet from where they're
Right. They're like, there was no pillows, but we ate a giant marshmallow, and that was really tasty.
And there's no windows because they hit it with their head. They're like,
I like the Airbnb pop-up theory. I think it's pretty cool, very creative.
I like that one. I like, it's tough. I like the black mold, but I'm going to go with the traveling ghost town. Yeah, mine. Yeah.
The traveling poltergeist.
Right.
Yeah.
cat.
Gosh, this is a tough one. There's a lot because I'm into the poltergeist one. I am a ghost person. I am not a ghost, but I'm into ghosts.
You have ghosts.
You have running with them.
Have
Yeah,
them.
you've
I
had
will
run-ins.
be one day.
Yeah.
But I also like the black mold. I'm in between.
Should go with the black mold.
Yeah,
Let's
because
go with
that would settle it.
mold.
Because then otherwise we'd have a tie, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go with black mold. I'm
Okay.
gonna go with
Okay.
black mold. Does anyone else need to vote? Did we all vote?
Jonesy did Airbnb. You did the
Yeah, that's
Dwayne
us.
did the
That's
poltergeist.
You can't have a
You
tie.
guys did black
Well, we
mold.
could have a tie, but then
Oh.
we have to figure out. I mean,
Yeah.
there has to only be one.
We have to figure out what really maybe happened.
I think we figured it out.
All
I
right.
think we did it.
It's a black mold.
Right. Well,
There you go.
Black Mold is a shared group Black Mold experience, and that's the official story. We'll take another break, and when we return, we'll talk about time travel. Okay, if you could go back, or I guess forward to any time period, when would you go and why?
All right. I have two answers. Number one,
Oh,
I
wait,
would
wait.
go.
Not your boyfriend, though, or ex-boyfriend, right?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say
Okay,
that.
good. Okay, good.
Okay.
Because I won't say something Asian or Japanese.
Okay. But maybe at the end we can come back and say the one. Okay.
Okay,
But
yes.
okay. My non-boyfriend related answer is I want to go to the early 2000s or late 90s and buy property in my name and then come back,
Oh, that's a
still
good idea.
have it, and now I have a house. That's the only way I'll have a house,
That's
you
pretty
guys.
solid. Yeah.
Besides getting
'cause
super rich.
They're super cheap back then.
Generational wealth. Yeah. I
No,
like that.
that's my number one task. Like there's all kinds of
pretty
things
good.
that would be really interesting to do, but
Or you could just invest in like Facebook or something, or like
Microsoft.
or Apple,
That's true, too. Yeah.
and then by the time you'd be like, or
Absolutely.
Amazon.
Absolutely.
Oh, I would do that. I would go to 2000, buy a house, invest in Amazon and Google.
And then you'd be super rich.
That's right.
Yeah. Or even Tesla, right?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So my approach to this time travel is the best one.
And what was the other one? You said there were two.
Oh, so this guy I'm dating,
Yeah.
this guy I'm dating
yeah.
currently doesn't want to. He's not ready for a relationship, but there was a time where he was. So I
Oh, you want to go back in time when he was?
Just like 3 weeks ago.
There were like two long-term relationships. I would pop up like in between them, and then I'd be like, "Boo, you've been bumped." And then I would be that one.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a stupid one, but that's why I gave you a smart one also.
Okay.
I would like to go back to a time in America when you could safely hitchhike.
I thought you were going to say till you could safely
You can
say
hitchhike
that.
now if you want.
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You cannot
What time
hitchhike.
do you think that is? Like
This is
early
the 40s,
40s.
50s. Yeah.
Assuming you're white.
I don't
Yeah.
think you could ever safely hitchhike,
No,
honestly.
you could before.
No, I mean, you
if
ever
you're a white dude,
did
you
you
could.
read On the Road by Jack Kerouac? Man, this is a big hitchhiking adventure, man. This guy hitchhiked all over the place, then hitchhiked all the way down to Mexico City. Back then, you could get around.
Well, even in the
it's
70s,
like a really nice time, a safe time for the most part. You could kind of
For
just
men, for
people
sure.
trusted each other a little bit
if you're
more.
a
I
white
think
too.
You
If
could
you're
just-
white as well.
Yeah, there's a caveat to this. Yeah,
White,
right.
straight,
Yeah,
man.
but just imagine you can't. No one would dare do that now. I mean, something would have to be wrong with you to do that.
Mm-hmm. That
But
is
yeah,
true.
I'd like
That
to
is true.
hitchhike across the whole country. I think that would be exciting, but I can't do that now.
You could.
I could. Maybe I'd try and make a documentary about it. On day 30, I still haven't left Jersey.
or you get picked up and you never seen it.
You never see me again. Yeah. The kind of people that would pick you up now are like, they're not normal, right?
I picked somebody up from Death Valley once.
You did?
Yeah, it was there was two people though. That's why I felt more comfortable. It was a man and a woman.
Two people,
And
they
there
could
was-
overpower you.
Well,
They could overpower you.
One of my friends and my wife was in the car, and
Oh,
it was
okay,
like,
okay.
the only other reason I picked them up was because I saw their car broken down like 2 miles
I
down
see,
the road.
I see.
And so I
And
assumed
it's
it
also
was,
Death Valley,
yeah.
so they're going to die.
and I assumed it was the same people because they were like walking in that
Yeah,
direction. I was like, these people are going to die if they keep
Right,
walking. Like, let's just
Death
pick them up.
Valley.
And we
Yeah.
Fair,
pulled over
yeah.
and they're like, hey, blah, blah, blah. We just need a ride. And I was like, yeah, we're just leaving, going through. And so
Right.
we'll drop you off at a
That's
gas
good.
station. Yeah.
Did
But
you
I was worried though. I was a little bit worried. to
I've
be
actually
honest with you.
been picked up, like helped twice. Once in South Africa. But a guy was like, "Oh, I saw you at the show," and then he gave me a ride. Didn't know this guy from Adam. A guy in England, this Indian
Yeah.
dude. I was at the wrong place. He drove me. In Chicago, some dudes drove us to this. We were looking for this chicken spot late at night, and these guys drove us. So I've done this a few times, and once I drove a lady home to the jungle. You know, the jungle, like where
Is that a euphemism for the
No, no.
forest?
it's the South Central. No, it's the South Central. It's where Denzel did the scene. King Kong ain't got nothing on me. It's a real place. South Central. Nah, doesn't look that bad to me, but it's supposed to be. You know,
Oh, okay.
I
back
believe
in
it's
the day.
I believe it's called South LA now.
All right, maybe yeah.
That's right.
So there
It's called Jungle Adjacent.
Yeah, there was a lady at Marshalls and she brought a big lamp and she needed help. And I was like, okay. And I took her back to the jungle and then her son was like, hey, thank you, cuz. Nah, he wasn't. But he thanked me. He did thank me. He did thank me. And then, so that was kind of crazy. And then, once I took this lady's at the Laugh Factory and she needed a ride. But I had another comic with me and I told him sit in the back and I gave him precise instructions. If she does something crazy, punch her in the face. So
That was the
didn't happen.
instructions.
Yeah.
That was the hitchhiker
Yeah.
plan.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of like Uber. I mean, that's kind of like hitchhiking in a way.
I guess it kind of
It's
is
like a stranger
hitchhiking.
picks you up, takes
Yeah,
you
yeah.
someplace.
Only thing is Uber, there's some sort of record of who this guy is.
Yeah, but people still get murdered.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I
true.
would like to do is
It's
go
really-
back in time. Like if I had a time machine, I'd have like a list
Start
of
Uber?
like all the major serial killers and where to find them and exactly what time they did their first murder. And I would go and I'd be like Dexter and I'd take them out one by one with a sniper
I
rifle.
like that.
You would do that?
Fuck yeah.
That's pretty sweet. How nice of you to give up your one of your few time travel opportunities to save humanity like
If
that.
I did that, I would take him out, but I would just poison him.
I mean, it wouldn't be to save humanity. It'd be so that I could do something fucking cool.
all right,
I just
something
want to
cool.
kill a bunch of
Well, then
bad
why don't
guys.
you just kill Hitler then?
Yeah.
You could kill baby Hitler.
Baby, that's what everybody
Sure,
says.
him
It's always
too.
Baby Hitler.
I know.
Instead of
Or just World War One
teenage
Hitler.
Hitler or
One
something.
World War One Hitler.
World War One Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just go back 5 days and save those avocados I opened too early.
That's right.
Man, those were good top shelf avocados. What a waste.
This is tough, man. This is not easy. There's so many options. I would go back maybe to one. I'd go back to like some kind of a cotton club, jazz, blues era. You know what I mean? And just say, you guys are doing a good thing. You know what I mean? Just to go check it
Thanks,
out.
strange man from the future.
Yeah.
He told us, he gave us a thumbs up and then bounced.
Wait, would you do like an old time accent, or would you just?
No, I don't know. I feel like I'm saying this is New York, right? So I could either go like lay it on me, black. Come on, blood. You know what I'm saying? Hey, daddy, I could hit him with that, or I could hit him with
You dig everything.
You dig.
I dig.
I can go like Brooklyn, like East Side boys.
Mhm.
Hey, don't be a wise guy. Hey, look at this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Hey, you guys are doing a good job down here. So I don't know, but
You gotta say cats. Everybody was a cat.
And I would also-
these cats.
go hang out with Galileo maybe and be like,
Yeah.
also,
I think that's the second episode you talk about Galileo.
yeah, I'm
Really?
like, you did some good things, man. You know?
Would you look into his telescope?
Yeah, I would tell him like the submarine. I think he
Wait, is that a
invented the
euphemism?
submarine.
It sounded like a euphemism.
No, in that case, no.
I like that.
But actually, you know what I would do too? Here's what I would do as well. I'd go back and not kill Hitler, but buy his art
Hey, now you're talking.
Ooh.
and buy a lot of
smart.
it. Like, yeah, this is your path.
Mm-hmm.
What if
Not
it was
any
really,
other path.
really bad?
That might be all it
This.
takes. Just a little bit of encouragement in that
buy his
area.
art and be
Mhm.
like, you know what? Follow your dreams. This dream, not the other dream.
You should probably say you're Jewish too. Then
Right.
Yeah.
But they say he was part Jewish. They say,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I would certainly, I would buy some of his art, like, yeah, as much of it as I could afford, actually.
Like, we love your art so much. We're going to open a museum right now. He's like, but I've only been painting for 2 years. Oh, museum right now, next week.
Right.
Oh,
Right. Either that
saving humanity without killing anybody.
Yeah.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah, that's
Well,
good.
way to one up all of us.
I'm sorry.
Nobody got to die with a sniper rifle, Cat. Nobody got to die.
So, okay, because you did the boyfriend one.
Someone go in the future.
Well, actually, I'll do one in the future then, but I'm going to do an Asian one because you did the boyfriend one, so I have to do an Asian one.
You set me up just so that you could.
I wasn't going to do
Right.
it, but then I thought about it, and I was like, every episode we have to talk about Asians or Japanese, right? Because obviously.
Usually aliens. We made it pretty far this time. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, what people don't know about Imperial Japan in like 30s and 40s was they were the only non-European country that was like acting like a European country, right? They were like, they were colonizing, they were taking over places. And there was a time in like the 30s when non-European countries were looking at Japan and saying, fuck, they're finally like somebody else is finally playing this game, the Europeans game. And there was a time when there were people in the Japanese like leadership that was talking about creating a pan-Asian thing where they would go to each of the countries and like free them from European colonization.
Right. Like, was Vietnam colonized at that
Yeah,
point?
like Vietnam and China and go and be like kind of create this pan-Asian movement.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they didn't go that way. They went like the other way and just started acting even more like Europeans. They started killing people and raping and doing all that terrible things. But I would go to that meeting and be like, no. It's going to be terrible for you. Let me talk about Hiroshima and Nagasaki and everything.
Interesting. That's pretty good.
And be
I
like,
like that.
maybe we could create this pan-Asian movement and free, and then move, like you could move to Africa and Latin America and everywhere else.
The other alternative is if you're going to do it after you bomb Pearl Harbor, keep going. Because they say if they would have kept bombing, they could have taken up, they could have like
They would have
conquered us all the way to Chicago.
They would have lost.
Really?
No.
Yeah, we weren't prepared.
Whoa.
But they were like, well, the surprise is over. No,
No.
sometimes the surprise is that you do it again. I'm not saying they should have. I'm glad that didn't happen.
No, they didn't have enough.
Right.
They couldn't have done that. I mean, what they should have done in Pearl Harbor was there was actually going to be a third wave, but they pulled it back because by then the Americans were already sending like anti-aircraft stuff in the air, and they had aircrafts in the air.
Right.
And the amount of losses that they anticipated was not even close to what they actually have. So they pulled back. The admiral of the fleet actually pulled everybody back.
Oh, so they experienced, even with that attack, they experienced more losses than they thought they would.
No, they less. And so, but then they
less.
pulled back
Oh,
early
I see.
instead of having the third wave, which would have completely destroyed the Pacific Fleet for longer. I mean, they would have come back. I mean, America, we would have come back,
Right.
but it would have just taken longer.
Right. You see, he said we, everyone.
Yeah.
And speaking about America, he said we.
Okay,
But,
but the
that would
one
have been a great meeting to be at, though.
the one going forward, I'll do one going forward is that I would love to see my son play Major League Baseball.
Oh, that's perfect.
I would love to be in the.
Yeah.
I want to be in the. I want to be in the stadium watching it,
Oh, that's
and just
great.
that feeling would be really, really amazing.
You'll have it. Don't rush it.
Yeah, but that would be a great kind of place to be, I think.
Hot dogs would be how much?
$70.
Shut up to think. That would be pretty dope.
Well, I should get free hot dogs at that point.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Yeah, because I think that they give it to the families. And I've already talked to my son about a per diem.
You get a per diem.
Well, he's going to give me a per diem.
He should.
And he said, "What's a per diem, Daddy?" And I said, "Don't worry about it."
Actually, you should give it, depending on how old he is, you should give him a per diem, so that the rest is getting invested or saved.
No, he's going to pay because he's a Major League Baseball player, so he's going to pay me to live my life that I want.
Right. But I'm saying is that he should also live on a fixed income, and anything over that is investing and saving.
I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about me.
But both.
By then,
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
have like 3 20-year-old girlfriends.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
The ESPN shot of of me
Right.
would be like 3 20-year-olds.
At that point, you won't even have to pop Viagra. You can just go to get a packet, insert it into your arm.
Yeah, what'll it be then?
Packet. It'll be a time release
Yeah,
thing. Whenever you need it. Yeah.
Cat's like, "Oh wow, that's a lot of information."
This went left.
I'm gonna time travel to the future of this conversation being over. Okay.
Well, thank you, Jonesy, for coming on with us. Please tell us where people can follow you and your podcast.
You can listen to my podcast on any podcast player. It's called Weird AF News. Just do a search for Weird AF News. And I'm on Instagram at Funny Jones.
Thank you all so much for listening. There are almost 3 million podcasts, and we're honored you chose ours. Please check out our website, unofficialofficialstory.com, for show notes or or to hear past episodes. Please follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube.
And if you like the podcast, please share it with your friends, family, and even your enemy. You'll be doing a lot to help us keep bringing exciting and fun content every month.
And we'd love to hear from you. You can send us a message by clicking on the Contact Us button on our website, or even leave us a voicemail. Click on the microphone button at the bottom of the homepage. Tell us what we got right, or tell us what we got wrong. Tell us how much you love us or hate us. Or if there's a topic you think we should cover. Or do you think you'd make the perfect guest? Let us know.
Please join us next month when we ask the question, were the deaths at Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival a blood sacrifice?
Yes.
Oh, wow. This is pretty heavy. I might skip this episode.
If they were, it didn't work.
He was already famous. He's less famous. Anyway, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is he less famous now?
I feel like he had a big hit album out. And then, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he's less famous, but he's not more famous. So what was it all for?
He didn't blood sacrifice enough people. Duh.
Perhaps. Yes.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.